What's up, guys? So this is part 2 of my series on how I got myself out of Elo Hell. So back to my story. Essentially, what happened was after I hit 800 ranking, I stayed there for a couple dozen games, and then I dropped further. I dropped all the way down to 600 Elo. Now this is pretty bad. 800 to 900 is around top 50%. So this was around maybe top 25%. Um, this is where I started my journey, and this is when I started my YouTube channel. In my YouTube channel, I said that my goal was to get to 1250 and effectively be ranked again. So I posted videos on here, basically showing what I did in game, and basically talking about stuff I did wrong, talking about how I could improve, and stuff like that. So I made this channel, and I continually try to get better. And through some effort, I got from 600 back up to around 800. And from there, I got up to 1,000. So I was pretty pleased with myself. And then all of a sudden, I hit a huge losing streak over the course of 1 or 2 weeks, and I just plummeted from 1,000 all the way down to around 500 Elo, maybe 600 Elo. And at this point, I stayed there for around the next 200 or 300 ranked games. Now that's a lot of ranked games. That's around 300 hours worth of ranked gaming. And I have to say, I learned a lot down there playing ranked games. A lot of people just play normals, and I honestly don't think it's the same because the level of competitiveness in ranked is so much higher, and people just know so much more. Even at the lower elos, I found that people usually try to stick to roles. They tried their best most of the time. But in normal, still to this day, I will have people who do not understand roles. They will not play to win. They play for fun a lot, and they don't understand how to play. I'll have a bot lane in normals who doesn't want to play support, who steals my minion kills, and there's a lot of terrible stuff. So that's why I think ranked games are a lot more beneficial if you want to get better. So I played a lot of ranked games down there, and I did meet a lot of experienced people down there. Most of them were lacking lots of basic essential skills. Some I did find myself respecting. Some of them weren't just newbies. Most people there only had around 10 to 20 ranked games played, and they were at that elo. Me, I was at like 300, 400 ranked games, and occasionally I would meet someone with the same amount of experience down there, and they usually did fairly well. Like, you could tell that they were trying to carry their team, but they still did fairly well most of the time, and they knew how to build. They knew a lot of stuff that people down there don't seem to understand. But for the most part, I found that a lot of players were missing some essential skills. Now I'm going to list these skills out, and I definitely think that if you take these into account, you will do a lot better and eventually get yourself out. So the first thing is the number of ranked games played. You need to play a lot to destroy any possibilities of chance altering your actual elo. Now, a lot of people don't play a lot because they're either scared that their elo is much higher than their actual skill is, but they won't admit this, or because they're just inexperienced and they prefer normals after losing a couple ranked games and getting a terrible trash elo. And I think that both of these people are kind of stupid because at the end of the day, you will have a fake elo rating because you aren't representing your actual skill level because you've only played like 2 or 3 games, and it might be because of luck that you got to the elo you are at. So these people will be destroyed later on, whether they only played a few games and got to maybe 1400 when their true elo is like 600, or the other way around, and they deserve a much higher elo, which in that case they're just cowards and not doing what they should, and therefore they probably won't do as well. So both of these categories you shouldn't do. You should play a lot of ranked games, and this is the first step to getting better, because as I explained, ranked games will teach you so much more than normals, and you'll get so much better from them. The second thing is a certain mindset. I find a lot of people do this even as you progress up, and that is you have to look at everything and see what did you do wrong. Every time you die, what you have to think to yourself is, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better and possibly avoided my death and possibly garnered a kill from it? I find most people, especially in the lower regions of ELO, like 600, even like higher regions like 1200, 1600, 1800, even these people, they will blame others for their mistakes. They will never look at things in a positive light, and they will always blame others for their mistakes. The problem with this is, first, it discourages others and it makes them play worse because they get mad and they won't play as well. The second thing is, you're not getting any better from it, and because of that, you're never gonna gain ELO because you're not gonna get better skills because you're not looking at it the right way. Because most of your deaths are usually due to your own fault. Now, a lot of you people will be like, no, that's not true. There's no way my death was my fault. My teammates caused it. There are like one case. There's like one case where that might happen, and that's when a team fight's about to erupt. It doesn't have to be a full-on 5v5 team fight. It could be like a 3v4, 2v2, 1v3, and those, even in those cases, unless it's a full-out team fight, you're not going to. It's mostly going to be your fault, because most of the time, if you engage and you find yourself dying, you have to pull out. You have to know what's right. So I won't get into specifics, but you have to look at everything, and it's not always about deaths. It's about losing objectives. Like if you see a Barons taking place and you lose Baron, or you lose Dragon, or someone steals your buff, you have to see what you could have done wrong. If someone steals your red buff in your jungle, you have to think to yourself, could I have warded the area? Could I have spent some extra money on wards and maybe protected it? Could I have pinged the team and told the team to come, because our teamo wasn't aware of the whole issue, and if you had pinged the map, he would have been aware and he would have come, and it would have been a 3v2, and we would have won that fight. We would have protected our red buff and killed the 2 people. Or maybe it was just something you did specifically. You always have to think to yourself, what did you do wrong? You could have, say, maybe ulted the other person. Instead of ulting the tanky person, you could have ulted the squishier of the 2 and maybe killed that person. And that way you could have killed a person rather than not killing the tank and dying yourself. So always think to yourself, that's the second thing, always think to yourself, what could you have done better? So before I continue, I forgot to mention, this is a gameplay of what I did quite recently. This is a gameplay of a ranked game I played around 20 minutes ago. I played top gearing, and I usually rarely play top, so this was actually pretty good. I was forced to play top, so I think I did fairly well in this game. I did make multiple mistakes, so there's definitely room for improvement, but I just decided to post this gameplay with my video. So that's the second thing you should always take into account. Before I continue with more tips, I'm just going to continue with my story. So there I was at 600. I'd stayed there consistently for about 300 ranked games or so. So all of a sudden I rose to around 1,000 elo, and I was pretty happy. But then unfortunately I dropped down again, and after 50 more ranked games I dropped back down to 600 or 500 elo. So this was the conclusion of my winter break. Just when I had reached 1,000, it was about 2 or 3 days before the end of winter break, and I thought I might maybe be able to reach my goal of reaching 1250. Well, this didn't happen, and I found out I had to actually pretty much quit, and pretty much I dropped down all the way from 1,000 to 500 right as winter break ended. So there I was at 500, excuse me, and that was the end of winter break. So in my last video I told myself, and I told you guys, that I would continue trying to get there even though my journey supposedly ended in failure, and I ended up getting worse rather than better over time. I went from 600 down to 500, though I did jump to 1,000 at one point. So that was my story, and that's where I left you guys off. Now this is the good part of the story, and how I got from 600 to my current elo of 1,300, which is almost around a 700 to 800 elo rise. And I was at 1,400. No, I was at like 1,360 the other day, so that's almost 800 elo increase. So I definitely did something differently, and this gameplay is winding to an end, so I will tell you guys the secrets and what I actually did in part 3. So I'll see you guys there.